Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Farming Simulator 17 mod spotlight, where today we're having a look at the Lely... I've forgotten what this is called. Lely Terra 250. This is a 3 meter, is it? Oh, I'm so bad at this. 2.5 meter power harrow. Now the reason you can see I've got a few things dotted around here. Got a seed pallet there, Cavernland, a cord there, and a little hurleyman. Because this thing apparently only requires 50 horsepower to run. I'm going to test that with the Cavernland and the hurleyman. In terms of modelling, this thing's pretty good. I mean, you can... You know, there are some rough edges in the normal and the specular, which always happens. It's kind of a thing to be expected at this point. But you can see that the Lely badges are just stickers. You can see that there's not really all that many rough edges and problems with the model itself. It looks pretty nice. So let's get our hurleyman. This is probably not going to be the longest video in the world. Let's get our hurleyman and let's kind of do a preliminary test. I do have a field bought over here. So it does attach to the hurleyman nicely. It switches on. You don't need to... Oh, you can unfold it for some reason. I don't know why you'd want to unfold it, but you... or fold it, I guess. But you can. Nice little animation of the... if I turn it off, the little tines going around. Okay, now I've got to unfold it to turn it back on, but when it's turned on you can fold it without any problems whatsoever. That's definitely a bit weird. You can just drive along it... apparently 9 kilometers an hour, especially, well, with the hurleyman specifically. Working speed and just power harrow your way to victory. I don't know what crop is planted here. I think it's sugar beets. But I'm just destroying it. This is going to be our kind of seeder and cultivator test field. But now it's time to get the real test going, because we know that this thing power harrows. But on the download page, this is from the mod hub, by the way, is uploaded on, well, it was released on Monday. As part of the little mod dump that happened on Monday. Presumably of mods that Lethian had been testing. Props to you, by the way, Lethian, for finishing your Christmas break late, or starting your Christmas break late, finishing early, and all around just going above and beyond. That looks ridiculous. All around just going above and beyond for the community. So... With the Cavernland perched precariously on top, can I lower that so that it looks a bit more normal? There we go. With the Cavernland perched precariously on top, and this, you know, does have a PTO power through. So if I lower this, it should lower both. And we are now moving a lot slower. But yes, this does actually work as it kind of is advertised on the mod hub, which is that you can use it as a power harrow in front of your seeders. So if you're wanting to run definitely kind of a small 3 meter farm, and you want to be as efficient as possible, maybe think about getting this really nice little cultivator. So you can do all your cultivating and seeding in one pass effectively. Especially with the Accord. Now the Accord is slightly wider than the power harrow, which can be a good thing, although maybe you might want something a bit more beefy than the hurleyman. This is kind of Dylan's joke for people who watch me regularly and keep insisting for whatever reason that I use the hurleyman. But you might want a bit more power than this if you're doing it seriously. Let's detach that and get something a bit more powerful. Let's get let's just go up a small bit to the... yeah, let's get the Linder Lintrack. This is about 100 horsepower, 102. Which should, in theory, not cause any problems. Let's just get running speed up a bit. There we go. I don't use this thing much because I strongly dislike the 4-wheel steering. I find this is near uncontrollable at times. Presumably it's really good if you're doing a lot of forestry work, I guess, maybe? As I get a text. Wonderful. Guess who turned the ringtone on earlier and forgot to turn it back off. So let's get everything running again and lower both pieces of equipment. Let's see if we can go any faster than 5 or 6 kilometers an hour. Not really. So we got more horsepower, but we're not really going all that much faster, and it kind of digs in if you're turning. But would you really want to be turning all that much with this equipment attached? Like, realistically, power harrowing and seeding, you're going to be making small adjustments like this. And I am intentionally using keyboard and mouse, by the way. This is the most... I always find keyboard and mouse is the fairest way of assessing mods, because it's the way Farm Sim is effectively designed to be played. But if you're doing power harrowing and seeding kind of in tandem, like what I'm doing here, and just almost as a demonstration, you're going to be going in straight lines for the most part. Let's just see if there's any overlap here when I go back along this way. There is a small bit, but the seeder covers it up nicely. So yeah, I'm going to recommend this mod to you. I picked it out of the little dump because I thought it was interesting to have a small power harrow. I think it's always interesting to have kind of small variants of equipment that usually is a lot bigger. Because most of the power harrows I've seen for Farm Sim have been 6 meters. It's interesting and different to see one that's in that 2.5–3 meter range that, granted, very few people use on a regular basis, but you know, not many people bring out mods in this kind of size range, and the mods that do tend to come out tend to be very high quality, so it's definitely interesting to see something you know, new and interesting, because there's number one, there's not that many power harrows to begin with, and there's not that many that are this small. Now, I know Lely are kind of famous for making small equipment. They make the Welger balers that pretty much everybody uses as a small baler at this point. They make a lot of... They do make a lot of mid and large size equipment, but they're kind of known for their smaller stuff. But, actually, one thing I want to test out, and I can do this with this tractor attached. What does this thing look like when it's fully dirty? That makes sense. That, yeah, it looks quite nice when it's fully dirty. Let's just detach the seeder and get this thing raised up. And that does act like a wheel as well. The, I don't know what the wheel on the back is called, but the little metal bar wheel thing does behave like a wheel, like you'd expect, where it slows down once it's been raised off the ground, and it kind of launches itself into a mega spin immediately when it is put down. Yeah, this is a mod that I would recommend, especially if you're trying to work with smaller equipment. I'm going to leave you guys here. I'll leave by saying I've been RainbowDave. You've been watching your Farming Simulator 17 mod spotlight. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.